Hi everyone, this is Heather Lottinen from the Flourish Academy, where our goal is to empower, educate, and elevate you to create a life that you love through the art and business of photography. In this video, we are going to whiten teeth inside of Lightroom, but first, make sure you check out our sponsor, ymcamera.com, for all of your photography needs. Now, before we get into this, let me say that I almost never whiten teeth in Photoshop or Lightroom. I just don't do it because I don't think it's necessary. But there have been a lot of requests for this tutorial, so I'm going to show you how I would approach it if I added this into my workflow. I made some quick edits to this image using Susie's favorite preset. Here is the before and after. In order to make a good selection for the teeth, I'm going to zoom in at 1:1. Press K on the keyboard in order to access the adjustment brush. Now, before I do anything with these sliders, I am going to press O on my keyboard to show the mask overlay. I'm also going to make sure that auto mask is turned on. What auto mask does is attempt to constrain the adjustment between areas of contrast, which is perfect for detailed selections such as teeth. The feather can be turned down. Again, that doesn't really matter here because we are bumping up against the edge. Let's make this brush a little bit bigger with the right bracket key and then simply brush over the teeth in order to select them. If you accidentally make a mistake and say grab an area like that, simply hold down Alt or Option key on your keyboard in order to subtract out that portion of the selection. Now I'm going to press O in order to turn that overlay off, and I'm going to press H in order to hide the edit pin. Now, what most people tend to do is go into the exposure and just pull up on the exposure and make the teeth brighter, but obviously that doesn't work. I do like to pull up on the exposure, but just a little bit. More importantly, I like to pull up on the shadows. Also, I see a lot of people pull down on the saturation, but the problem with that is if you take it too far, then the teeth turn gray. You can certainly pull down on the saturation, but probably just a little bit will do. I'm going to make sure those shadows are turned up where I would like them. And let's take a look at how we're coming along so far by turning this adjustment off and then back on. And we're going in a pretty good direction, but actually what we have here is that her teeth have some variation in their color. And I think I'm going to tackle that by pulling down on the contrast in order to sort of blend those pixels together, if you will. Also might pull down on the clarity just a little bit, and that is actually taking care of the problem that I see. Again, the problem is that there are different levels of discoloration on her teeth, and I'm trying to even that all out. I would call this a challenging edit in that regard, because more times than not, simply pulling up on the exposure and the shadows and down on the saturation will do the trick. But in this case, we had to make a few other adjustments to make it look even better. More importantly, you want to zoom out and make sure that you are going in a good direction with this adjustment, because now that I see this, I feel like it's a little bit too bright. So I'm going to pull down on those shadows just a little bit and maybe even on the exposure. I just want to make those teeth look a little bit better. I don't want them to be absolutely bright and white and perfect because that just wouldn't be natural. Let's look at this adjustment off and on. That looks fantastic. Let's drop this tool by pressing K on the keyboard and take a look at the overall before and after. I hope that you found this useful. I'll see you in the next video.